Former Deputy National Security Coordinator Alhaji Salifu Mimine Osman granted presidential pardon.
ECOWAS meeting of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff in progress in Abuja to discuss Niger's political situation.
And at least 20 people drowned after a boat capsized in Uganda's water on Lake Victoria.
Good evening and welcome. This is GBC News and GTV. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawando with Robert Frimpong-Manso to translate the news into sign language. You can also join us via Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Good evening.
Before we go to our main stories, we would like to inform you that GTV and GBC News will telecast live the President Founders Day broadcast immediately after the news at 8 p.m. Now to our stories. An ECOWAS meeting of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, CCDs, is underway in Abuja from now till 4th August 2023.
On the table is the political situation in Niger. The CCD's meeting is a follow-up to the decision of the Authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government at the extraordinary session held on 30th of July 2023 in Abuja, Nigeria.
Following the recent political upheaval in Niger, an extraordinary summit of heads of state and government was held in Abuja under the chairmanship of Nigeria's president and chair of the ECOWAS Authority, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. After receiving the memorandum of the president of the ECOWAS Commission on the Niger situation, the authority extensively discussed the latest developments by members of the Presidential Guard and the illegal detention of the legitimate head of state, President Mohamed Bazoum, as well as members of his family and government. After the summit, the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, CDS, of ECOWAS is currently meeting in Abuja as tasked by the heads of state and government to restore constitutional order in Niger. The meeting is also to find a lasting solution to that political situation. Addressing the members, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said the committee is tasked with a mission to rise above their individual interests and fight for a common goal as custodians of peace in the region. He said as they deliberate on the way forward, they must be guided by the principles of justice, fairness, and the rule of law.
Our commitment to these principles will be unwavering. They are the bedrock on which our community is built, and they should be the guiding light in the difficult journey that lies ahead. I'm confident that this meeting will make a significant step forward towards restoring constitutional order in the Republic of Niger and affirming our collective resolve to democratic governance. I look forward to robust, fruitful discussion, and I'm certain that our collective wisdom, experience, and commitment to our shared values will guide us to the best outcomes.
The Commissioner, Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, reassured the Niger people that ECOWAS will not tolerate any barbaric acts since the country is a signatory.
We want to reassure that once they were signatory to the ECOWAS protocols, that is not going to be tolerated, and we are going to do everything to ensure that the hostage situation in Niger is resolved.
The Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff hopes to come up with a robust, fruitful deliberation to address the political situation in Niger. ECOWAS says it is implementing critical and strategic programs to deepen cohesion and progressively eliminate identified barriers to full integration. This way, the estimated 300 million citizens of the community can ultimately take ownership to realize the new vision of moving from an ECOWAS of states to an ECOWAS of the people, peace and prosperity to all by 2050.
Ghana now has a venue to train her foreign service personnel and diplomats from other parts of Africa. This follows the inauguration of the Foreign Service Institute at South Legon in Accra by President Akufo-Addo Foreign Minister, Madam Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, said establishing the Foreign Service Institute was mooted by President Akufo-Addo in 2006 when he was Ghana's top diplomat.
And this facility here, Foreign Service Institute, was conceived when President Akufo-Addo was the then Foreign Minister of Ghana. And according to him, other countries have established the same institute and they've been doing well in the world of diplomacy. And so Ghana need to have one. And when he became president, he deployed the Foreign Minister, Madam Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, to go to India to source for funds to construct this project. And the India government, through Exim Bank of India, agreed, and they financed this project at a cost of $5 million. The foundation stone of the state-of-the-art three-story building was laid on August 2017. But upon review, an additional $1.5 million were secured from Government of Ghana, bringing the total cost of the project to $6.5 million. The facility consists of 5 lecture rooms, waiting room, a VIP waiting room, cafeteria, kitchen, library, a multi-purpose lecture hall, a language lab, a computer lab, a seminar hall, and 100-seater auditorium. Now, let's listen to Madam Shirley Ayoko-Botwe about what went into the negotiation and how this is going to improve the well-being of the country and the foreign service personnel who, according to her, they used to deploy them outside the country. But now, every training is going to be done in the country.
The Foreign Service Institute will play a pivotal role in empowering Ghanaian diplomats to navigate global challenges, build alliances, and foster mutual understanding between Ghana and the world. Together, we shall strengthen Ghana's position on the global stage, championing democracy, human rights, and economic cooperation for a prosperous, interconnected, and peaceful future.
The president, Ghana will now have what it takes to be able to nurture its young diplomats and deploy them to represent the country across the world. He said this facility will also serve other countries in Africa, and then more importantly, other diplomats will be brought from outside the world to come and enhance the skill acquisition of the diplomat here who will be learning languages and different dynamics and techniques in diplomacy.
Considering therefore that Ghana's diplomatic resource base needed drastic expansion as the country envisaged herself as the gateway to Africa, I had to take the necessary step to establish such an institute. The completion of the Foreign Service Institute thus marks an important milestone in Ghana's efforts to institutionalize a strong foundation for her diplomatic service. The Akufo-Addo government's commitment to fostering diplomacy, cultivating international relations, and equipping our diplomats with the necessary skills to navigate the complexities of the ever-changing global landscape is to be enhanced.
The 1.34-acre land used to be the property of the defunct NEPAD ministry, which was eventually merged with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, which is now the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. For GBC News, Edward Nyako reporting.
And I open the story with a quote. The history of the NPP tells us that no president can force a candidate on the party against its wishes. The NPP is not that kind of party. We have never subscribed to a cult of personality. Indeed, our highly respected former president, the first NPP president, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, in the aftermath of my election as NPP presidential candidate by the 2007 National Congress, told the Congress that the party has its spirit, a spirit that cannot be ignored. Say, these were words by President Akufo-Addo at a meeting with the party's communicators at the Jubilee House in Accra.
This meeting between President Akufo-Addo and the NPP communicators was to calm the waters in some circles of the party. According to him, under 8 years of the successor NDC, we became famous for all the wrong reasons. 4 successive years of doing so, the mismanagement of the economy, wrong and dangerous energy contracts, and wanton corruption dissipated any hope the Ghanaian had for sustained economic development. And to the president, never again should this be visited on the Ghanaian.
Kufuor took a country that was under HIPIC conditions, and within 7 years, it transformed the country into a low-income, low-middle-income status country. In these 7 years, from HIPIC, highly indebted, poor country, to a lower middle-income country within 7 years. 8 years of the successor NDC government, and the whole story went bananas. It went pear-shaped. 4 successive years of doomsday, mismanagement of the economy. You've heard the description that the World Bank director gave to the contracts, the energy contracts, as dangerous contracts that were signed in the period, wanton corruption. All of these were the results of those years.
With the start of the final leg of internal contest of the NPP, President Akufo-Addo noted that some actions by a few members of the party are making it to the front pages for the wrong reasons.
We are the party of Ghana's unity, something that we should never forget. Indeed, our great predecessor party was called the United Party, the party that brought together the National Liberation Movement, the Northern People's Party, the Muslim Association Party, the Ganshi Fumokwe, Anglo Youth Organization, Togoland Congress, brought all these different parties into one formidable organization. And we have to make sure that we maintain that reputation.
To the party communicators that he can beat his chest and say, without any fear of contradiction, there is no one in the party who can say that he, the president, has asked that individual to support any aspirant.
The allegation is being made that the government is putting all its authority behind the vice president. I want to say in very clear terms to you and to the world, it is a false and malicious narrative. There's not a single truth to it. That's why I can beat my chest and I can say without any fear of contradiction, there's no one in the party, there is not a single person in the NPP who can say that I have asked him or her to support this or that aspirant. I haven't done it, and I know why I haven't done it.
President Akufo-Addo reassured the gathering of another victory for the NPP in election 2024 and handing over to an NPP presidential candidate, an aspiration he hopes all party members will share. Edward Nyaku, reporting for GBC News.
Still at the presidency, President Akufo-Addo has granted presidential pardon to former Deputy National Security Coordinator Alhaji Salifu Mimina Usman. This follows a petition by the paramount chief of Kwembe Traditional Area, Kwembe Haruna Dari Bismarck Babange in Defoso. According to the petition dated Wednesday, July 26th, Alhaji Mimina Usman deserves presidential pardon on grounds of ill health and good behavior. A response issued by the Secretary of the President, Nana Santibidiutu, said after consultations with the Council of State, President Akufo-Addo has exercised his prerogative of mercy in favor of the former Deputy National Security Coordinator in the erstwhile John Mahama administration and granted him mercy in accordance with Article 72, Clause 1A of the 1992 Constitution. In a letter addressed to the Minister for the Interior, Mr. Ambrose Derry, and copied to the Director General of the Prison Service, the President asked the Minister to take the necessary steps to give effect to the presidential pardon immediately. Alhaji Mimina Usman was one of 3 persons found guilty of 14 different charges, including causing financial loss to the state and contravention of the Public Procurement Act in procurement of surveillance equipment for the National Security Council Secretariat, together with 2 other board members of the National Communications Authority, NCA, Mr. Eugene Bafo Boni and William Tetetevi. Alhaji Mimina Usman, a son of Kwembe, was slapped with a 5-year jail sentence by Justice Eric Chebafo in 2020. The three got a total of 16 years in prison by the Accra High Court with hard labor.
Some members of parliament from the Upper East and Upper West regions want the government to initiate measures to control the presence of foreigners in the country, particularly from Burkina Faso. The lawmakers are worried that some of the Burkinabes who have sought refuge in Ghana may be engaging in activities that could pose a security threat to the nation. The MPs spoke to the media in parliament on Thursday.
You listen to the comments by members. It means that the influx of the refugees into our region extends beyond Garu. That means you have refugees found in Boku Central, in Binduri, in Tempani, in Pusuga. It is a big problem for us on our hands. There's a humanitarian crisis on our hands. When I visited the site, in fact, it was so shocking. Within a short period, we have over 4,000 people in the four communities that I mentioned. Kuguri has about 1,700. That was a registration that was being done by the assemblyman of the area. And then I'm told that there are some of them, especially those, the Fulani heads, are even avoiding the registration. Roughly, you can think of about 4,000 to 5,000 people in the area. The insurgents or the jihadis that who are attacking communities and killing people in the northern Burkina, we don't know who they are, and they can take advantage of the influx of these refugees and then carry their, nefarious activities in our country. So the security situation is under threat. That's why I'm drawing the attention to Parliament, to government, and all the bodies that are concerned with security to ensure that they take this matter seriously. They should come to our area and then ensure that this problem is nipped in the bud. The large influx of people into the area has led to serious shortage in water in some of the communities. Shortage of food prices, increase in food prices, and then, a burden. The health condition is the open defecation because of lack of, toilet facilities, and many other things. There's pressure in the already, few facilities that we have in our area.
The Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Gbagban, says he is disappointed at government's failure to withdraw the taxes on sanitary pads in the 2023 mid-year budget review. The Speaker in June urged the government to scrap off taxes on sanitary towels in the mid-year budget. This was, however, not captured in the presentation by the Finance Minister last Monday. Speaker Gbagban was reacting to the issue on the floor of Parliament.
There were demonstrations. This House was petitioned. The Right Honourable Speaker was petitioned. The Women's Wing of the Socialist Movement of Ghana demonstrated. Gender activists demonstrated against period poverty, against the assault on womanhood. We know it is leading to absenteeism in our schools. Here we are, Ghanaian women looking up to the Minister for Finance. He comes and doesn't say a word. The height of insensitivity. And Mr. Speaker, I think that this House must establish strongly that we are totally appalled by the Minister's insensitivity.
I want you to recall that there is a report from AGI that government should allow the local companies to produce the sanitary pad in this country. And Mr. Speaker, these two companies are Sanda Industry and Fanning Industries. Mr. Speaker, if you compare the price from the foreign sanitary pad, as I speak, it's 15 Ghana cedis per one. The local companies are preparing or producing this particular sanitary pad at a cost of 11 cedis. And I want to ask Honorable Abrakwa Should we actually collapse the local industries in this country? No. If we impose tax in order to actually prevent importation to this country, Addo is saying the government is insensitive to this particular pride. Actually saying that you will not.
Member, I will give you the time, but for the issue of sanitary pass, I'm very, very, very passionate about it. Government should have a rethink about it. They met me 2 days ago, the captains of industry in Ghana, and we went through the details. So when we talk about the taxing, it's not only on the imports, but even what we produce locally. They tax the raw materials and they impose more taxes on them. So they were complaining about the cost of production. And to the extent that some of them have folded up and they are rather importing from some places and selling. So it's something that I take seriously about. Don't let's miss the point.
The Exim Bank of Korea is supporting government to modernize the regional maritime university. The $146 million support is to improve infrastructure, including a new special purpose training ship for the RMU, with the concept of training and trading. Speaking at the 17th congregation of the university, the Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Jethro Brooks Jr., said the project will commence soon.
At the 17th graduation, which coincided with the 65th anniversary of the university, a total of 444 graduates were awarded with diplomas, bachelor's and master's degree. The Vice-Chancellor of the Regional Maritime University, Dr. Jethro Brooks Jr., said the university continued to review its programs to meet changing trends in the maritime industry.
The Regional Maritime University is a very unique university in that we run regular tertiary academic programs while at the same time prepare students for seafaring duties. While we expect all of our graduates to be smoothly integrated into the larger workforce, we are pleased to announce that over 85% of our trained seagoing graduates are already posted or are about to be posted on ships for crewing following their graduation.
The Chancellor of the University, Mr. Ibrahima Sila, said the university is building capacity to establish a research culture. The Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology of the Republic of Gambia, Professor Pierre Gomez, congratulated the graduates, asking that they use their acquired knowledge to transform society and improve the maritime sector.
I also suggest that postgraduate studies should be industry-based as much as possible, so that the industry will increasingly fund research in the institution. This is the surest way to reduce our postgraduate students' financial burden. There is, in sum, a pressing need for such closer collaboration between governments, non-governmental organizations, industries, civil society, and universities in funding research.
The university recognized and rewarded some pioneers of the university and some students who excelled in their field of studies. The Regional Maritime University started as the Ghana Nautical College some 65 years ago. The college became a Regional Maritime University in 1983 with the Republic of Cameroon, the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia and Sierra Leone as founding members, an accredited tertiary institution with full diplomatic status, and attained full university status in 2007, thereby becoming the first international maritime university in West and Central Africa. And now to the Eastern region, the Akufo-Addo Nursing and Midwifery College has launched its 60th anniversary with a call on students to upgrade themselves in order to improve on their craft. The head of health training institutions, Mr. Felix Nyante, admonished nursing and midwifery colleges to train professionals to address societal needs.
The college started as a midwifery training school and enrolled nurses in the training school in 1964. It currently runs 3 programs: registered general nursing, registered midwifery, and post-nurse assistant clinical or nurse assistant preventive midwifery. About 60% of the college's teaching staff are alumni of the college. The head of health training institutions, Mr. Felix Yante, disclosed that the COVID-19 pandemic led to a global shortfall of about 5.9 million nurses.
With the aging of the nursing workforce, 17% of nurses globally are expected to retire within the next 10 years, and 4.7 million additional nurses will be educated and employed just to maintain the current workforce numbers. In total, 10.6 million additional nurses will be needed by the year 2030.
The Eastern Regional Minister Sachampong commended the college's unwavering commitment to advancing healthcare through quality education. He said the government would work with the college and its partners to ensure quality nursing and midwifery education. The principal of the college, Mrs. Mary Bozumbil, said the college has trained professionals who are making positive impact both home and abroad.
For the past 60 years, the school has trained men and women who have made great impact on society in various fields.
The anniversary will be marked on the theme, Sustaining and Scaling Up Excellence in Nursing and Midwifery Education.
You're still watching News Hour on GBC News and on GTV. We go for a break. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations?
Let's Do Business, brought to you by MTN with me, Esther Addo Ohumeu. Africa's leading pay TV service provider, GoTV, under the auspices of MultiChoice Ghana, has introduced a new package called GoTV Super Plus. The exciting new package brings quality level of entertainment to subscribers, offering over 70 channels, including Super Sports, English Premier League, Spanish La Liga, and UEFA Champions League ahead of the new football season.
It feels good to football with GoTV.
The new GoTV package, called Super Plus, is in response to customers' feedback and requests for more sporting events, especially the most watched league in the world, the English Premier League. MultiChoice, the leading provider of video entertainment services in Africa, says with the GoTV Super Plus, viewers now have access to a wide selection of top-tier content, making it the ultimate choice for viewers who seek high-quality sporting events and entertainment. The new package includes some of the most on-demand channels on DSTV, namely Super Sports English Premier League, Super Sports Select 3, Studio Universal, Disney Channel, among other TV channels. In an interview with GBC News, the managing director of MultiChoice Ghana, Mr. Alex Ochi, said MultiChoice remains dedicated to offering top-notch entertainment and sports content that cater for the varying interests of the diverse audience.
And most of the GoTV subscribers are saying, can't we get, the Premier League that is on DSTV? Everybody's watching on DSTV. Can't we get the same on GoTV? So we've listened. We are bringing GoTV Super Plus, which will have all the Premier League matches. So all the big teams in the Premier League, name them, Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, and all that. All their matches in the Premier League, you will have it on GoTV Super Plus. It's just 255 cedis.
The head of marketing at the MultiChoice Ghana, Madame Efwa Kisinyami, briefed customers on how to get upgraded into the new Super Plus package.
It's a new package. You can, if you're already an existing GoTV customer, all you need to do is dial *759 to upgrade. But if you do not yet have your GoTV, you can visit any of our dealers, our branches nationwide, acquire GoTV, and then upgrade to Super Plus.
The head of communications at MultiChoice Ghana, Mr. Niyama Dagadu, gave details of some activities to commemorate the 30th anniversary of MultiChoice Ghana.
As part of our 30th anniversary celebrations, there are a couple of things that we're doing. In May, we had the launch of the whole anniversary. And then a few weeks ago, we had the innovative health cycling event where we got over 150 people, our staff, our partners, and the likes to cycle across some of the streets of Accra. And we were we're looking at a green environment. So we believe that it's not you don't always have to walk. There are other sports that you can partake in. And then also we have a blood donation exercise coming up. We know that the blood banks are struggling, and for that reason we want to organize our staff and some of our partners to also make a donation to the blood banks, various blood banks across the country.
MultiChoice Ghana started in 1993. Its bouquet of products on DSTV and GoTV have endeared the hearts of many households in the country, providing them with thrilling and an unforgettable television experience and content from around the world.
The executive head of research at the Ghana Association of Banks, Mr. Ebenezer Ashley, has said sustained reforms and operating schemes are reflecting in a profitable, solvent and resilient banking industry. The banking industry's financial intermediation was enhanced by the boost in total advances, which increased from 63.4 billion cedis during second quarter of 2022 to 73.1 billion cedis during the second quarter of 2023. This represents a 15.30% growth during the period. An aggregated balance sheet during the quarter 2 of 2023 depicted an impressive performance comparative to the quarter 2 of 2022, where the 242.4 billion Ghana cedis recorded in quarter 2 of 2023 was fairly reflected in the robust growth in total assets. The executive head of research, media and market conduct of the Ghana Association of Banks, Mr. Ebenezer Ashley, said institutions in the banking industry were strategically positioned to better withstand potential episodes of financial stress while providing improved financial services to people within the economy and beyond. He indicated that banks operating in the country were responding positively to the economic recovery and were ready to transact business with well-meaning Ghanaians, including individuals, households, and various categories of businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises. He mentioned that data released by the universal banks in the country during the second quarter of 2023 affirmed stronger industry performance relative to the quarter 2 of 2022 and attested to the accelerated pace of the industry's recovery from the shackles of the recent debt restructuring program. According to Mr. Ashley, the effects of the government's debt restructuring program on the broader economy reflected on the industry's high non-performing loans ratio in 2023 quarter 2 at 18.70% compared to 2022 quarter 2, which was at 14.10%. He added that conscious efforts of the government towards practical implementation of programs that would enhance economic stimulation are needed to stem the tide of loan defaults in the country. Let's have the forex and commodity figures for the day. And that was Business brought to you by MTN. Thanks for watching.
Hello, it's time for some happenings in the energy sector. My name is Dominic Hoji. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has announced it will commence the cylinder recirculation model in September this year, following the availability of the necessary gas storage and transportation facilities. The model, which will be rolled out in phases, will run side by side the old gas marketing scheme. Ghana's cylinder recirculation model is expected to address fire safety issues in the gas sale business and double access to the commodity by 2030.
Under the yet-to-be-implemented cylinder recirculation module, LPG bulk distribution companies, LBDCs, will either import or buy LPG from local refineries or gas processing plants such as the Tema Oil Refinery and Ghana Gas Company, and store the LPG in their bulk storage facilities. They will then sell the LPG in bulk to bottling plants for the sole purpose of filling empty cylinders for LPG marketing companies, which will retail the commodity to all categories of end users.
So as a citizen, you don't need to own a cylinder. All you need to have is money to buy LPG. Go and identify yourself at the exchange point, and a cylinder is given to you. When you finish using it, you bring it back to the exchange point and take another one. When it comes to the exchange point, the cylinders are collected, and a transportation company is engaged to evacuate the cylinders back to the bottling plant.
The new model is expected to bring gas closer to the doorsteps of consumers and double gas consumption by 2030. The aim is also to increase gas adoption, especially in rural areas, by 40%.
There are neighborhoods within Accra where you can access LPG just by making a phone call, and an Abubuya will bring you LPG. So we are further going to deepen that, so that it is not only in Accra that you can make a phone call and get LPG delivered, but We want a system where far away in my village, I can still access LPG by maybe making a phone call or going to the nearest reseller to be able to pick up a cylinder.
Existing LPG marketing companies fear the transaction will affect their business. Deputy Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Mr. Perry Okojeto, believes the new model comes with varied employment avenues.
A new policy comes with new business. We see the introduction of new trucks for cylinder transportation as new business. Yes, you have to invest, and as a businessman, you have to invest to be able to recoup. So you have one line, which is the bulk distribution. You also have a new line of business, which is transportation and exchange of cylinders. We envisage that we want to increase penetration by 50%. That is also additional business to the existing business that they have.
The MPA says the needed infrastructure for the implementation of the scheme is now available. 4 bottling plants, 2 cylinder manufacturing companies producing over 2,000 cylinders per day, and exchange points dotted across the country.
Countries with uranium deposits in Africa are being encouraged to consider including nuclear power in their electricity generation mix so as to take full advantage of the mineral. Among the countries on the continent with considerable deposits of uranium is Tanzania. In an interview with Energy News at St. Petersburg, Russia, the Tanzanian Minister for Minerals, Mr. Doto Mashaka Biteko, said the country intends to take advantage of its uranium resource to increase access to electricity to promote development.
Demand of power, especially electricity in the world, which is going down, the demand is going up and the population also is coming up. So and I think the world is in a need of looking at the energy mix across what it provides. For instance, in the country, Tanzania, the nuclear energy also is one of the energy mix that we are looking at it. And given the fact that we have the deposit for uranium, we are pushing our investors to come in Tanzania, mine the uranium we have, put up a facility and generate electricity for the general population. This is what we are looking at it, and as a government, we are providing conducive environments to investors. Whoever want to come and invest on a nuclear, they are invited.
Now to national power generation. Overall, national power generation was 61.1361 gigawatt hours within the last 24 hours. Here are some key national statistics on electricity generation within the last 24 hours. That's it for the energy segment. My name is Dominic Hoji.
It's been scientifically proven that when the viral load of an HIV patient is suppressed at 50 copies per milliliter, the person cannot transmit the virus because it won't be detected, according to the chief of party HIV Care Continuum, Dr. Henry Nagai. This development should rather spur on patients to stick to their treatment, which is often 3 to 6 months without defaulting. This is the rationale behind the U equals U campaign, which stands for undetectable equals untransmittable.
HIV testing, treatment and viral load PCR testing services are free in the country. However, the PCR machines are available in only 9 regional hospitals. This notwithstanding, antiretroviral coverage is said to be low in parts of the country considered to be high-burdened regions. This is due to the absence of treatment sites, even though there are 700 treatment sites in the country.
We are also expanding other platforms, so not only the PCR machine, there are also machines from Abbott, which is a diagnostic machine, and then also there are about 155 gene expert machine. A gene expert machine is a machine that helps you to do TB, molecular TB diagnosis, and so it can be used for TB and then also it can be used for HIV viral load. All you do is that you buy a particular cartridge for that. So we are also going to use that. Currently, we have about 55 facilities of such facilities that can also do viral load, in addition to the 9 PCR machines and then other platforms which we are also bringing on board.
While the public is being encouraged to self-test for HIV, patients are also being empowered to adhere to treatment and attain viral suppression due to its benefits.
When your viral load is less than 50 copies per mil, then you will not be able to transmit HIV sexually. So what it means is that if you are HIV positive and you are on treatment and you continue to adhere to your treatment judiciously and your viral load becomes undetectable, that is less than 50 copies per mil, then you will not be able to transmit HIV sexually. So we say U equals U, which means undetectable equals untransmittable.
It is hoped that by 2030, Ghana would have attained the 98% target with respect to antiretroviral coverage. At the recent dissemination exercise by the Ghana AIDS Commission, it was noted that the Ayawaso East in the Greater Accra region has already exceeded this target as of 2022, scoring 98.2%, followed by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly with 97.8%. On the contrary, the Swame, Efijai Kwabre East and Okre are among the least performing districts, all in the Ashanti regions. Sarah Fori, GBC News, Accra.
This segment was brought to you by kind courtesy Tobinko.
On the foreign front, at least 20 people have drowned after a boat capsized in Ugandan waters on Lake Victoria. The overloaded boat was believed to have had 34 people aboard when the accident happened on Wednesday. According to police reports, the boat had also been carrying bags of charcoal, fresh fruits, fish, among others. They attributed the cause of the accident to overloading and bad weather. The police said 9 people have been rescued. Rescue efforts by joint police, military and local community teams were underway to locate the other missing people. Ugandan police have appealed to people who travel on waters to always wear life jackets and not to overload their vessels. Both accidents are not uncommon in Uganda. In 2020, at least 26 people died on Lake Albert at the border of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. 2 years earlier, dozens of people died after a boat carrying about 100 party revelers capsized in Lake Victoria near the capital, Kampala.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I am Theophilus Sampa to the presidency. President Addo Akufo-Addo is assisting Ghana Premier League champions Media MIC with a 1 million cedis cash. This is to assist them in their inaugural CAF Champions League campaign set to kick off later this month. The reigning champions of the Ghana Premier League, Media MIC, paid a visit to the Jubilee House in Accra on Wednesday, July 2, 2023. Media MIC's first national championship title last season has earned them the opportunity to represent Ghana on the continental stage. With their eyes set on making the nation proud, the Moves and Yellow are looking to kick off their CAF Champions League journey, starting with an opening round match against Nigeria's Remo Stars. As such, they have presented their trophy to the first gentleman of the land, President Akufo-Addo. The leader of the delegation was the Deputy Minister for Mines and Natural Resources and a Member of Parliament for Takwa, Mr. George Mrikaduka, chiefs from Apinto Traditional Council, the board chairman of the club, Dr. Tony Obin, head coach Evan Taduti, other management members and technical team, as well as the players. He promised not to disappoint.
We will be asking for your blessing and your support. We are not going to disgrace you on the continent level, and we know you'll be with us. On that score, we say thank you very much.
President Akufo-Addo praised the team for their efforts.
The Deputy Minister of Sports is here to assure you that whatever we can do to help in the continental engagements that you're going to be involved in this year, we'll do our best to assist, to make sure that you have a successful tilt. For years, it was a duopoly in Ghana, Kotoko or Hearts. And then what Adriana broke through a bit. Yeah, but it's good. We have yet somebody else now. And we'll all remember the name Mediama Football Club.
President Akufo-Addo then announced a financial package of 1 million cedis to assist them in their Champions League campaign.
I will try and provide 1 million cedis to help you in the... To help in the CAF campaign.
The first leg of the opening round match is scheduled to take place in Cape Coast on August 18, with the return leg set in Nigeria on August 25. The LOC for the Accra 2023 Africa Para Games, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Africa Paralympic Committee Secretariat, have held an engagement session with ministers of sports of each member state in Africa on the need for participation in the Africa Para Games, budget, promotion of sports, and the future of the sports. Ghana is hosting the first standalone Africa Para Games from the 3rd to the 12th of September this year. As such, the webinar gave all ministers of sports of each state in Africa the opportunity to get first-hand information on the games and the role they can play to help their para teams participate well during the games. The chairman of the local organizing committee for the maiden multi-sports para games, Accra 2023, Dr. Chris Buidimenta, promised a memorable event. The president of the Africa Paralympic Committee, NPC, Mr. Samson Dean, was happy at the response from the ministers.